Got it. Okay. Now let's take a step back and look at the whole art ecosystem on the whole, right? It's currently a fairly unorganized sector. Well, things are changing, and it's traditionally lacked a solid support ecosystem. What accounted to you are the different pieces of a strong ecosystem? What role do collectives like Wicked Bros and institutions and art schools play? And what do we need more of on an infrastructure level?
Very interesting question because, as you rightly pointed out, art is, if not the most, then probably one of the most unorganized sectors here in India.
Right.
Um, like, if I'm looking at, let's say, the ecosystem as such, if you ask me to define it, it's fairly like a varied because you have, from the top, let's say, I genuinely don't know any. There is obviously the arts and culture ministry. Probably I don't even know,
Right.
first of all, what is that ministry,
Okay.
because they don't play a big role as such. Like, I don't see
All right.
them doing anything. The government as such on a larger, apart from this Swachh Bharat thing, I haven't
Right.
really seen. Have couple of institutions like the Lalit Academy is there. So
Okay.
these are some government institutions. But other than that, these are the others are generally state or, like, private collectives. Like, for example, there is Kiran Nadar Museum of Art. There's
Okay.
JJ School of Art.
Right.
These are the more prominent institutions which are actually supporting the arts movement as such.
Okay.
So, so from what I see, it's basically the philanthropy which is majorly supporting art that way.
Okay.
Uh, if you come one level down from there, then you have smaller collectives like ours. I wouldn't say we are a collective as such. We are more of a organization, because
Okay.
collective would mean then there are, like, a lot of artists who are working with me. They're not.
Right.
They are working with me, but not in the organizational part.
Sure.
We are kind of running the community with them. It's called Street
Okay.
Art United. Separately, we've called it.
All
So
right.
yeah, there are 500 street artists over there. Likewise, there are so many other collectives, communities out there in India, state-wise as well as art-wise as well.
Right.
So that's the second level. Then at the third level, you have these individual artists themselves who are functioning. To support them, by the way, we have such amazing paint companies like Camlin, Asian Paint, Speedlight, so on and so forth. Um, and
That's interesting.
yeah, yeah, I think that's kind of the ecosystem. Apart from the fact that, you have these consumers who could be interior designers, it could be real estate owners, it could be homeowners,
Right.
cafes, lounges, anyone who, wants their home decor, interior space done, essentially right from the government itself. Obviously, being one of the main clients as such. If you, let's say, recall the Ram Sutar
Right.
Unity project, that was 3,000 crores.
Okay.
So yeah, the government is actually promoting it, but only where it kind of interests them as such to use art.
Understood. Got it. Now, I want to talk about this whole demand side of art, right? So, graffiti generally in India, what I've seen is it's been mimicking pop culture references from the West, graffiti coming in from the West. But things are evolving now, right? Everybody's bringing in their own little flavor. And as an industry, how is it evolving from where are we right now on the scale of artists doing art just for its own sake to producing art purely based on demand?
Um, it's an unfortunate scene because I would say it's almost like um, I don't know. With some of the, it depends first of all, artist to artist. Like, the amateurs are, of course, creating art more for the sake of art,
Okay.
and the professionals are creating art more for the sake of commercials as such.
Right.
So it depends who you are asking the question to. Like, is it a
Sure.
beginner or a professional? Because there are professionals who don't find time to do their own art also sometimes.
Right.
Like, they are so
Because they're busy
in
with
demand
commissions.
always,
Right.
absolutely all the
Okay.
time.
All right. All right. Now, I want to talk about again collectives and organizations in the whole art ecosystem. Something I've seen in many other art ecosystem, or generally in industries, is these organizations end up devolving into cliques where you have to play ball with one group or another in order to get work, right? How do you prevent this from happening and make sure it's a more it's a democracy in that term? And how can a solo artist who doesn't want to sort of align with one group or the other flourish?
Um, so, I mean, there are so many platforms, first of all, let's be honest. I
Yeah,
mean, I may not have mentioned all of them, and probably there won't be any directory of all of them. I don't recall anywhere being a directory as such, but if you look at the art ecosystem in India, there is actually a lot of options. Like, for example, you have Mojato, which is one of the ventures from NDTV, which is, I mean, we're not talking street art here, we're talking art in
sure.
general, what you just
Okay,
said. So there's the India Art Fair, which happens every day, every year. There's Saffron Art.
right,
So there are so many museums and galleries out there, online and offline, who are there. So an artist can actually choose where he wants to go. Yes, it is hard sometimes to get an entry. Let's say, for example, I've heard that sometimes there's you have to wait for years to be able to get a show in JJ school, JJ gallery.
wow,
So so yeah, from the very prestigious will be very hard to get into. You have to play ball there. The easy ones, there's no easy ones actually. It could be your own friend's home. In fact, I recall this one artist who said
right,
कि Zain, मैं तो अपने घर में ही कर लेता हूँ, आप सब आ जाना. मैंने बोला I was okay. And then there is street art, of course. The whole point of street art being, let's not go to the
yeah,
galleries, let's put it out on the streets. So the ecosystem has evolved, and the internet. So first of all, the artist has a lot of choice.
right,
Secondly, if he feels constrained, then there is the platform of public spaces, like in the world of street art, or the
okay,
internet.
right,
I mean, there are countless examples now in our own Indian scene where people have grown from the internet or from the public street art space without the help of any of the collectives or art galleries or government, and have made it big now. Purely because now they become influencers thanks to the individual work they do. So,
that's
so, so there's actually a lot of freedom.